Hi, welcome to Take 5, where we daily consider devotional thoughts from Oswald Chambers' book, My Utmost for His Highest. Today's February 28th, and the title of today's devotional is, Do You Now Believe? By this we believe. Jesus answered them, Do you now believe? John 16, verses 30 and 31. The focus verse comes from John 16, which covers time following Christ and the disciples leaving the place of the Last Supper and before reaching the Garden of Gethsemane. Along the way, Jesus has been giving the 11 some final words of instruction and preparation for the time of his soon coming crucifixion. Without going into details, the disciples say that now we believe that you came from God. And it is of this remark Jesus responds, Do you now believe? It's as if he's asking, are you certain that the light bulb of reality has gone off in your heads and you genuinely know who I am? He follows his question with a prophecy that you will be scattered each to his own home and to leave me alone. John 16, verses 31 and 32. Soon afterwards, following Christ's arrest in the garden, we learn that all the disciples left him and fled. Matthew 26 and verse 56. We now pick up with Dr. Chambers' thoughts for the day. Many Christian workers have left Jesus alone and yet tried to serve him out of a sense of duty or because they sense a need as a result of their own discernment. The reason for this is actually the absence of the resurrection life of Jesus. Chambers is addressing today the idea of being a Christian without Christ. This is what I think rather than this is what Scripture says type person. For a great deal of people, they are Christless Christians because all that they do is more from a sense of duty to a God whom they do not intimately know. Many churches would continue to thrive without Christ because they are much more of a social and civic institution in nature than a resurrection life nature, as Chambers titles it. Continuing on, our soul has gotten out of intimate contact with God by leaning on our own religious understanding. Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6 say, Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your paths straight. Church and personal life is often run by one's own religious understanding and ideas rather than God's Spirit leadership. Down further, Chambers says we need to rely on the resurrection life of Jesus on a much deeper level than we do now. We should get in the habit of continually seeking his counsel on everything, instead of making our own common sense decisions and then asking him to bless them. The point being addressed here is the false sense in which many say they trust God, follow him, lean on him, yet they don't really truly understand what this means. To trust in God does not mean to make decisions as to what we think is best and then asking him to bless our decisions. Being a Christian does not give you the right of attaching his name to what you want to believe as being true. Many people go to church only from a sense of obligation that they believe it's what God expects of them. To that, Chambers says, if we do something simply out of a sense of duty, we are trying to live up to a standard that competes with Jesus Christ. We become a prideful, arrogant person thinking we know what to do in every situation. We have put our sense of duty on the throne instead of enthroning the resurrection life of Jesus. We are not told to walk in the light of our conscience or in the light of a sense of duty, but to walk in the light as he is in the light. 1 John 1:7. God never intended for us to live in him by our own considerations of how it's to be done. That is seeking to live up to a standard that competes with Jesus because it's you establishing the rules. We are told to walk in the light as he is in the light, not by our own brightness, but his. If you haven't yet read today's devotional from Dr. Chambers, I encourage you to do so, for it will enhance the time that we spend together. It's available online free. Please be sure to list below any questions or comments that you have over today's study and share prayer requests as well. And now may God's grace and peace be ours as we seek to live our utmost for his highest. Thanks for being here today. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye now.